Imagine a student wakes up, checks their phone for notifications, and before they realize it, they are already scrolling through their phone, and suddenly an hour has passed by. Now they rush for school, distracted, and later when they come back, they spend hours gaming or chatting online. It feels as if their mind is moving fast, but in reality, it's quite stagnant. Does this sound familiar to you? Very much? Because for many of you sitting here, this might not just be a story, but maybe your reality. So today, I'd like to take you all through a fascinating journey of a field called cyber psychology. It is the study of how technology influences our mind, mindset, our thoughts, feelings, behavior, etc. And it's a field of growing importance, especially for teenagers like you who are growing up in the most connected generation in history. So, some of you but still may ask that why does this matter? Why do we need to know about cyber psychology? Every tap, every scroll, every notification that holds a larger psychological landscape. And it affects us in unimaginable way. And even though technology has the potential to connect us with each other in incredible ways, but at the same time, it impacts and challenges our mental health, self esteem, and even our sense of reality. So, today I'd like to take you all to a journey of a cyber psychological aspect of life, but at the same time, we'll be exploring pivotal aspects of Soch, Samay, and Safar, meaning thoughts, time, and journey through the lens of cyber psychology. Now, in order to understand how this relationship exists in the digital world today, let me tell you an analogy. And in this analogy, consider the digital world as a vast ocean. In this ocean, your thoughts, that is your soch, is the boat that you navigate in. Sometimes steady, sometimes swayed by the waves of social media trends, opinions, influences. And while you are riding this boat, your samay, that is your time, is the wind in your sails. If you use it wisely, it will take you to greater shores of learning, connectivity, and growth. But if you waste it chasing storms of negativity, scrolling, distraction, comparison, it may lead you nowhere in this vast ocean. And finally, coming to your safar, that is your journey in this vast ocean, it depends on how you steer your boat. Are you charting a course to new meaningful destinations? Or are you getting adrift by the tides of notifications, distractions, comparisons? It's totally up to you. Because the good news in this vast ocean is that you hold the compass and you always have the chance to adjust your direction to calmer, brighter, and better waters. So, now that we've understood a little bit about the digital world through this analogy, now I'd like you and I to take a closer look at what is really happening in a world of constant notifications, filters, and feeds. When we talk about such a rapid world, of course, there are bound to be psychological consequences, but also how the relationship of the psychological aspect and the internet exist. That is very prevalent. So, by the end of this talk, I hope to leave you all not just with answers, but also with strategies to help you navigate in this world much more better or much more in a controllable way. So, let's first talk about traps that exist in the digital world today. By traps, I mean those things that we might get stuck at, or they might affect us mentally or emotionally, and might affect our psyche. And one of the biggest traps that exist in the digital day and age today is endless scrolling. Now, I believe that endless scrolling is something almost every one of us who's been on social media must have heard about it or experienced it to some extent or the other. And what can I say about endless scrolling? It is so addictive and yet so satisfying. Let me tell you my personal story that happened regarding endless scrolling. It all started with a quick Instagram scroll. I thought, just 5 minutes, I promised myself. But then somehow one reel turned into 10. 10 reels turned into 20. And before I knew it, I was deep down into cat memes and travel vlogs. And as I realized, 1 hour had passed by. And a moment of realization hit upon me that I had missed a crucial morning meeting. I was anxious, stressed, still in my pajamas, So I stumbled upon to join the meeting, rushed towards it, and fumbling through apologies as I joined, and at the same time, regretting silently on why I was on social media for so long, even though I had thought to myself, just 5 minutes and I'll scroll through my device. But you see, that moment was a moment of realization and a eureka moment for me. Because that's when I started thinking about the addictive design of social media and scrolling. It's so addictive that one just cannot easily leave it. And that is exactly what happened with me as well. However, now I've learned my lesson. Whenever I think just 5 minutes and I scroll through my device or Instagram, I actually laugh to myself and set a timer of 5 minutes. Because I know with scrolling, 5 minutes somehow turn out to be 1 hour. Has this ever happened with you too? Or maybe you picked up your phone to check one thing, only to realize an hour had passed. Or it could also be that you opened up your phone, you checked on Instagram, then you went to YouTube and came even back to Instagram without even realizing it. Has this ever happened with you? Please raise your hands. I can see in the audience not quite few of you, almost all of you. Well, the question that comes here is, why does this happen? Why do we get so stuck with our screens and so addicted to it that we are not able to leave it? Well, the answer is very simple. Firstly, it's no accident. And secondly, social media apps and platforms are designed in such a way in order to keep the users hooked to what they are watching in their screens. And developers use something known as the hook model. Now, the hook model works on four stages in particular: triggers, actions, rewards, and investments. Now, in order to tell you how the hook model works, let me give you this as an example since it's really common to all of us. Imagine you get a notification on your device. Now, this notification captures your attention, and this now acts as a trigger. As a result of this, you take your phone, you open it up to check what it is, and that is your action. Now, when you see the different posts, likes, and comments and notifications, you get a sort of a dopamine rush, which is now your reward. And the more time you spend scrolling, liking, etc., that becomes how much more invested you become to it. And that is your investment. It's a whole cycle. But when we understand the hook model, we need to realize that even though social media apps and platforms have the potential to keep us hooked, engaged, and even entertained, but they come with hidden costs. Hidden costs that we don't see. And one of the biggest hidden costs associated with social media usage today is on our self-esteem. Now, I want all of you to be honest here. How many of you have just opened your app or opened any of the social media platforms and be like comparing yourself with another celebrity, influencer, or even just a friend who you thought has just the perfect life? Please raise your hands. I can see some hesitant hand raisings because, of course, it's natural. A lot of times we just tend to compare ourselves because we think the grass is always greener on the other side. But that may or may not be the case as always. Research shows consistently that there is a positive correlation between the amount of time spent on social media and the likelihood of developing low self-esteem. Now, let me tell you about my friend who once happened to post a few pictures of hers on social media platforms after coming back from a school trip. Now, we all have that excitement and enthusiasm when we are going to school trips that, okay, we got to click good pictures and we need to post them well so that we get good attraction, attention, and some likes and comments. And that was the psyche of my friend as well. And she posted that. But she did not get as many likes as usual on those posts. And as a result, she felt anxious. She felt stressed. She felt like what was happening and why was it happening? I still remember her asking me that why didn't people like my picture? Was it not good enough? Was I not looking good enough? And that's the moment when I realized that how deeply social media can impact the way we think about ourselves and our self-esteem. However, what my friend did not realize at that moment was that there were dozens of people who had told her offline, commented offline in real life settings, telling her how amazing her trip was looking. Well, that moment ultimately taught her and me that real and genuine validation often comes offline. But when we see such incidents or when it happens to us only, we need to realize that our value, our worth is not defined by the number of likes or comments or views that we get on our social media profiles. We are much more than that. And speaking about social media profiles, in the current status quo, social media is full of highlight reels. Highlight reels where people only showcase their best moments. Could be from trips, celebrations, vacations, birthdays, achievements, milestones, but they are the best moments. Now, when we see these highlighted reels and videos and pictures, what we don't see behind them are the insecurities, the bad days, the challenges. Because remember, behind every post, behind every screen, behind every virtual wall, there is a person who's sitting behind. And each person has his or her own set of good days and bad days, challenges and opportunities. But a lot of times we don't acknowledge that. And as a result, we compare. We start that negative toxic comparison loop. We get stuck into it. And let's talk about filters for a moment. How many of you have used filters on different apps? Please raise your hands. All of us. Because why not? Filters are something that beautifies us. Commonly, people say that. I've heard that. But these filters, even though there are apps like Snapchat and Instagram which help us to tweak and perfect our faces with the help of certain swipes and taps, which is easy and convenient, right? And it might seem harmless initially, but at the same time, we need to realize that it exposes us to unrealistic standards of beauty and sometimes unattainable standards of beauty, and moreover, a false perception. Seeing all this, again, we compare ourselves. It's been shown that teens who use frequently these filters feel less confident about their real, genuine, and authentic selves. Well, the problem does not stop here. Because even though we've talked about certain traps like filters and certain traps like endless scrolling, social media also has the potential to amplify body image issues. Now, when we are living in such a technologically connected and advanced time, where we have access to social media, online media, where we see pictures and reels and posts about the ideal body figures, the perfect body figures, which are sometimes unattainable and sometimes even digitally altered. It seems that we think we have a complex. That when we see such bodies, see such perfect ideal figures, we think maybe our body might not be perfect. But that's not true. Because each body is worthy and valuable the way it is. And we need to reinforce that, we need to affirmatively believe that and realize upon it. Now, let's zoom out for a moment and look at the bigger picture here. Apart from self esteem, body image, or even our sense of reality, social media also impacts the way we think, feel, and interact with this world. For starters, it changes the way we perceive and process information. I'm sure this must have happened to you at some time or other that you were not able to focus on a particular task after spending hours on your phone or on any of your device. Has this ever happened with you? I believe yes. Because what happens exactly is that every notification, every like, every comment trains your brain to crave constant stimulation, which means something or the other must be going on in order to avoid boredom. And that is the nature of social media. There is constant stimulation going on. And there's something or the other must that should be there. Constant posts, likes and comments, etc. And while we are on the topic of constant posts, likes and comments, we need to realize that in the current status quo, there is lack of privacy. By lack of privacy, I mean that every post you do, every comment you do, every message you get leaves a digital footprint. Sometimes sharing too much personal information online can lead to cyberbullying or even identity theft. Now let's get to the heart of the matter today, mental health. It's really important, it's very essential, and it's a must that we must take care of it. But today, the relationship between mental health and social media is quite complex. But we don't need to get disheartened by thinking that the relationship is complex. Because like a wise man once said, with every difficulty, there comes an opportunity. In fact, in the middle of every difficulty, there lies an opportunity. And in the current status quo, the opportunity is that there are ways to break this cycle. Now, let me tell you step by step, as I said earlier in the speech also, that I'll be telling you certain strategies that can help you navigate in this digital world more better. So, number one, practice digital detox. Now, we've heard a lot about this. We've heard that we should be staying away from our screens, we should practice outdoor activities, pick up a hobby. But even though this might seem cliche, but it is true. So maybe spend time with your friends and family offline. Spend time outdoors. Pick up a hobby. Take regular breaks from your device. Because who knows, spending less time scrolling can lead to more time strolling on an evening walk with your friends and your family. And your feed will definitely thank you. Number two, talking about feed, let's be mindful about our feed. The feed that we see could be Instagram feed, our Facebook feed. And last but not the least, value real life connections and please seek help if needed because there is no shame in asking for help. So, by the end of this talk, as we are coming to it, where does it leave us? Firstly, we learn and realize that social media is neither good nor bad. It's just a tool, and how we use it is what determines it. And you users are not just consumers of technology. You students are the future creators, innovators, and leaders. And with this comes the responsibility to use technology mindfully and effectively. So, in the end, let's dream about a future where teenagers like you are the real change makers, solution providers. And here, you are providing solutions by using technology effectively. Think about it. Thank you.